Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, December the 13th, and this is the futures in 5. You know what? We've got a very interesting thing going on in the market space here. So let's take a look at it. We can see that we have buyers coming up here. That's why these highs are getting higher. These higher lows are presenting themselves. And we're also getting a little higher, but we are still collapsing at what looks like pretty solid resistance. Now, that's going to stay like that as long as our momentum stays relatively negative, and we are moving into the Fed today, so we may have ourselves a very choppy day ahead, so you want to be kind of careful. I would say between the areas of 26.45 and 26.76 or so could be quite noisy. And because of the formations that are sitting here, most of these breakout areas are going to fail. So if you take a breakout, watch that first target, take some profit at the first target that you might see, and then if it fades and loses your entry point, it might be better to cut and run. That's my thought anyway. Same thing happening with the NQ, still higher lows coming out of this space, so we've got an undercurrent of motion, pardon me. We still have higher highs in the near term here. The question is, can we get out of this heavy congestion? You can see it in the prior week, the time price opportunity tool, showing the shallow motion here that we're trying to fill in, but as soon as we get there, we're breaking down. And over the last little bit, we've had lower highs, particularly since the early market this morning. So we want to be pretty careful. I got asked last night in a webinar if I thought the current lows would hold. And in order to answer that question definitively, in my mind, is to unsettle the sellers. And the sellers are up here, and they are very settled in that space. And so you can't really answer whether the lows are going to hold if the sellers are still comfortable at their main selling space. You've got to wait it out. And so we could easily lose these lows until we get up above here and start holding on and fill in this volume profile. There's a lot of noise here. The pullbacks still holding as buy zones in general. And so that's really what I'll be looking at today. You know, I want the buy zones to hold. I like the pullbacks in the space. I'm seeing buyers trying to hold it. I just know I can't just buy and hold. It's not appropriate in this formation because I have sellers coming in every time I get into my old targets. We've got to think about it that way. Yeah, that's what we have to think of it. Oil. Yes, so you know my little storyboard about how OPEC can't really control price anymore. You know, yes, they say they're going to curb. How can we do that, right? I mean, how can they curb and affect price? Well, they can't really. But in this case, look at what we're doing. We've had a very low low, and then we're still trying to make higher lows, but look at momentum. It just continues to drift. Do I think we have buyers down here? You betcha. Shorting the low, unless you plan to get out just a couple of pennies after that, shorting the low is going to be not a great idea. However, buying the low, once it moves from the low and starts holding the area, like in this space, might not be a bad idea. You want to take a look at the 30-minute. Yeah, what it needs to do is breach this congestion zone first. Sorry, it's bringing up the time price opportunity tool here. It needs to breach congestion first up here and then pull back before we see anything nice from a positive space. So all of the bounces still into resistance in that formation. Taking another gold, this one's giving me a little bit of a pickle. I have not liked the levels that are presenting here because they break and then they fade. So they'll break like about 10 ticks and then they'll come right back up. That's pretty annoying for somebody like me who's looking for those edges that can hold in the formation that is moving upward. Now, for the first time in a while, we're sitting underneath the adaptive moving average, and that isn't really a very good thing from a bullish perspective. So here's my thought. Old resistance, new support. If I pop up here and I still cannot recapture this area at the adaptive moving average, I should have a deeper fade. That might give us a little bit of a rally in the markets overall. You know, are things fading here because maybe the dollar is settling in, maybe, you know, whatever. Who knows what's going on there? What we do know is old resistance, new support. We know that that should bounce at the first pass, but if it can't hold because it's underneath this adaptive moving average, we've got more downside ahead. Good luck trading today. Fed rate hike coming tomorrow. Today might be pretty congested.